The SEC files yet another motion to go after Ripple, compelling them to produce the rest of their Slack documents, the internal communications that Ripple had with its own staff. And the judge granted that order. But Ripple fires back and produces a last-second motion for the SEC to compel something. Something very important that once the judge sees, some people are now saying, case over. And the SEC is now painting themselves into a corner, and this has been coming to a head for several months now, but it's really starting to come down to the last second, and many people are starting to jump on BitBoy Crypto's prediction that mid-September could be a settlement. So I'm going to talk about the squeeze that the SEC is now seeing and why that could actually happen. And as the rest of the crypto market rises, the price of Bitcoin just passed $50,000. Some of the other altcoins have been making moves as well. I'm going to review what they're doing, and specifically XRP, and what it needs to break to actually continue moving through some key Fibonacci levels. And if the SEC loses this case, don't fear. They already have another case against another crypto company lined up that they just announced yesterday. I'm going to tell you what that is in this video. Hey everybody, my name is Randy, and welcome back to the Late Night Grind. And right now on this channel, I'm covering the Ripple versus the SEC, as well as cryptocurrency news, investment markets, personal finance. And if any of those topics interest you, make sure you hit the subscribe button, hit the bell notification icon so that YouTube will send you a notification when I release a new video, which I do when there is some new information. Right now, there's some big information. And if you're in the crypto space, I believe that you are the most generous people on the planet. So if you would, go ahead and smash the thumbs up button. It really helps out with the YouTube algorithm. That and watching this video all the way through, those are honestly the two best things that you can do to support a YouTube channel. So with that, let's jump into it. So I'm actually going to start off looking at the rest of the crypto market. Right now, Bitcoin just passed $50,000 again for like the fourth time, and it retraced back down below. It's been waffling back and forth, and the rest of the crypto market has basically followed suit. And the coins that I've been covering the last several videos, Solana, Cardano, and XRP, are still trending like they were before. Cardano was one of the biggest movers along with Solana during this time frame, and it's been doing like I pointed out in the other videos. When Bitcoin makes its big moves, so does Cardano. However, Solana seems to be going a little bit more sideways, but when Bitcoin starts doing sideways or starts pulling back, that's when Solana makes its big move. It's really interesting because on the macro scale, Solana is very much connected to Bitcoin like the rest of the crypto market. But at the same time, when you're looking at the dailies, Solana seems to make its own moves that are a little bit opposite of Bitcoin. And right now, XRP is at $1.25 after touching $1.30. And several of the technical analysts that I watched yesterday and this morning basically said it needs to pass $1.30, $1.31, and move through it pretty easily in order to reach the next Fibonacci levels, which are about $1.50 to $1.60. Some of them are saying that it should happen any day now. Of course, we've been hearing that for quite some time. And now on to the SEC case versus Ripple. Now I wanted to mention this new case that the SEC has against a crypto company. It's actually not a new case. They've actually been investigating this for about 2 years now, and it's not a new company. It's actually BitConnect. Now BitConnect was a crypto lending platform that was basically doing fraud all over the place. Anybody could spot it from a mile away except for the people that got scammed. In any case, the SEC had been investigating it for about the last 1.5 to 2 years, and they finally just announced that they are going after the leaders of BitConnect, among a few others that were actually involved in this fraudulent lending program. It's basically where people would lend their crypto and earn a percentage return in exchange. Well, what they were doing was actually just paying the returns in exchange and keeping the rest. Their trading bot wasn't exactly up and running like they said it was. So as the SEC looks like it's about ready to lose this Ripple case, the conspiracy theories are that the SEC is going to settle with Ripple, and they're going to use this case against BitConnect as kind of its media savior or its public relations savior to keep the SEC in the good public eye for going after legitimate scammers and leaving their loss to Ripple kind of in hindsight. At least that's what XRP holders are hoping. But still, it makes a lot of sense from a time frame perspective. So two things. The SEC did just win a motion where the judge sided on the case of the SEC, where they wanted Ripple to get the rest of their Slack documents, which is basically an internal messaging system, together to send to the SEC for review. The judge granted their motion, and Ripple has to comply and send over the rest of their Slack documents. According to them, it could take several months. But right behind it, Ripple sent a motion at the last second because there was a deadline for any discovery motions to be set on the 31st. Well, Ripple actually did that, and what did they do? Well, they sent a motion compelling the SEC to answer interrogatories, which were basically questions that Ripple had asked previously that the SEC had not answered. Now, these are some documents that the SEC has been wanting to try to hide for quite some time. And in it is a question about whether Bitcoin and or Ethereum is a security. Now, from looking at Twitter, a lot of people try to spin that as, is Ether a security? Well, they have to answer, is ETH a security? But from the clip that I read, it said Bitcoin and or Ether. So if the SEC is smart, they'll probably avoid the Ethereum question altogether and try to answer it through the lens of Bitcoin. And their answer is going to be something around the decentralization is established enough, there's nothing that controls it, etc., etc. That's why it's not a security. But they may be forced to answer the question of, is ETH a security or not? And if the answer is no, and this is where the SEC is in a really tough place, because if the answer is no, then you can easily compare XRP to Ethereum, when they were created, why they were created, the platforms that they reside on, and what they're used for. And if the answer is yes, it is a security, well, the SEC is going to have a whole host of problems because they made a lot of people, a lot of insider people, a lot of inside connections, very, very wealthy because of William Hinman's Ethereum is not a security opinion speech that he gave in 2018. Now, attorney Jeremy Hogan, who is on Twitter, who's been following this SEC versus Ripple case, he's been following what BitBoy Crypto has been saying a lot recently. And while some people think, including myself, that's a little bit dangerous coming from his perspective on things, nonetheless, he's been doing it because BitBoy Crypto's predictions is basically one of those things where he's going to be incredibly right or incredibly wrong. So attorney Jeremy tweeted out a video that BitBoy Crypto had made where he was predicting that mid-September we are going to have a settlement. Attorney Jeremy followed that video up with a comment that said, September 14th. That is the deadline that the SEC has to produce their internal documents to Judge Netburn to review, unredacted documents. And not only that, September 8th is the deadline where the SEC has to answer all these interrogatories where they have to answer the question, is Bitcoin or Ethereum a security? And how did you come up with those answers? So we have all these deadlines coming up before mid-September. And Jeremy Hogan pointed out that that's interesting. He makes a prediction that mid-September there's going to have a settlement. Because if there are things in those documents that the SEC has pretty much given up the case on and Judge Netburn is going to see it, or if you watched my last video and I said Judge Netburn could look at the information in these documents and was really just waiting for a little piece of information that she could use to justify her giving the win to Ripple, then that's absolutely going to happen in mid-September. Now, BitBoy Crypto says there's settlement talks actually happening in the background. He's got an inside source. I guess we'll find that out. But nonetheless, the time frames do match up. Now, if that doesn't happen, Jeremy Hogan said it looks like we are headed for at least several months of back and forth between the SEC getting the judge documents and between Ripple producing all their Slack documents and, of course, all the reviews in between. In the meantime, this is like a pimple that is coming to a head for the SEC. They're absolutely getting squeezed, and we're going to find out what's on the inside very, very quickly, and if the SEC is going to look to cover that up with another pretty story about them going after naughty, fraudulent crypto companies that are scamming innocent people out of their money. So if you're new to the channel and you want to follow along with any and all of these stories, you're going to make sure that you hit the subscribe button. And if you're on Twitter, and I'll post a link in the description below to my Twitter account, you can go follow me there. I basically have been tweeting and following along with several other attorneys that are following this case as well as some of their opinions. So if you want to go and join the conversation there, you can definitely hit me up on Twitter. All right, guys, once again, thanks for watching all the way to the end. And as always, thanks for the big thumbs up. And I'll see you guys on the next video.